class, and this is the third lesson of the third module, talking about the essential roles of the Scrum Master in the Scrum ceremonies and other meetings. In the last class, we looked at what the Scrum Master does in the sprint planning meeting. And in this class, we would be looking at what the Scrum Master does in the daily stand-up, which is also called the daily Scrum. So as a quick background, what happens during the daily stand-up? The daily stand-up on its own is a meeting where all the developers, the Scrum team comes together. And I made mention that the product owner is not mandated to come for the daily stand-up. But in practice, product owners often come to daily stand-up. In actual sense, the product owner could have a loud voice during the daily stand-up. When we get to practicals, we'll be expanding more on those. So at the daily stand-up itself as a meeting is for the development team. Is for the development team inspecting and adapting and engaging and ensuring transparency of their work. They are updating themselves. That's what happens during the daily stand-up. The Scrum Master joins that meeting because he is the Scrum Master, the all-knowing Scrum knowledge master, right? The epitome of Scrum. That's the Scrum Master. In actual sense, there should be no Scrum meeting or event that a Scrum Master should not join. Okay, so in the daily stand-up, the team comes together and they are inspecting and adapting what happened yesterday, what are we looking at today, if there are any blockers, and all this must be focused on this sprint goal. All this would be focused on the sprint goal. So let's go into the meat of the conversation. Right. So this will serve as a guide for us what the Scrum Master does during the daily Scrum. In the last class, we mentioned that the Scrum Master facilitates all meetings. So we will see that come again and again in all the events and in all meetings. The Scrum Master is a facilitator. In Module 1, Lesson 1, we also spoke about the Scrum Master as a facilitator. So he's facilitating all the conversation. So here also he's doing the same thing, facilitating the meeting. He's responsible for scheduling the meeting time for the daily Scrum. Mind you, in Module 2, when we were talking about the daily Scrum, I remember I mentioned that the timing for the daily Scrum should be same every work day. So it is one of the practice that the Scrum Master also ensures that the team adhere to. It is not that today, Monday, you are having daily Scrum for a team by 9 a.m. and tomorrow daily Scrum will now be 10 a.m. and the next day or the day after, daily Scrum would now be 12:30. No. The time for the daily Scrum is expected to be same, and the Scrum Master takes that responsibility for the daily Scrum. Then of course we all know that there's a time boxing for daily Scrum, which is 15 minutes. So the Scrum Master also ensures compliance to that time boxing of 15 minutes for the daily scrum. Of course, also, all meetings are meant to be engaging and conversational. So the scrum master is also looking out for team members' participations in all those meetings, same as in the daily scrum. And where he observes or she observes that a particular developer is not engaging, he wants to find out why and how to support such a developer better so that the full value of the daily scrum is met. True transparent workflow is also promoting transparency and effective adaptation through the scrum board, where the scrum master is encouraging the team members, guiding and ensuring that they update their own workflow, that they progress their own pattern of work. He encourages or she encourages the team members to update their tickets, raise comments, tag individuals along, progress their cards or the tickets from the to-do list to in progress when they are blocked, move it to blocked, raise some comments. Those are basic practices in Scrum. All those basic practices would bring transparency and inspective adaptation. So the Scrum Master is promoting that. Of course, it's monitoring progress, but that monitoring, let me say that monitoring in a very silent way, is monitoring progress. Because the developers do not want to be monitored, quote and unquote, but the Scrum Master is focused on the work progress, how well the work is progressing. It's not monitoring the developers, but it's monitoring the progress of work. So he wants to ensure that a story a developer committed to, a one story point a developer committed to yesterday, depending on what the team's agreement, the work agreement, or the team charter is, if a one story point is for 4 hours or one day, by the following day, he wants to ensure that that particular work is completed. Where it's not completed, he wants to step in to find out if there are any problems, which takes us to the next one. He identifies and removes impediments. When there are any challenges or any obstacles, the Scrum Master steps in. He uses the daily stand-up as quick observation to identify impediments and knows how to overcome such. Where he needs to park that conversation so that they could discuss further, he would push that into a parking lot. Where there are quick solutions or suggestions from other team members, he encourages them to come up with that. Then, of course, the Scrum Master is the coach of the team. I've explained that earlier. While the Scrum Master is encouraging the team members with good Scrum practices, right? Raising their own comments on the tickets, is ensuring that they are progressing their own work, is ensuring that they are adhering to good agile and Scrum practices. Then, of course, is also encouraging collaborations towards the sprint goal. Everything in the sprint should focus on the sprint goal. So these are most of those things. Of course, there would always be more. In the course of the practice, you'll be able to narrow down all this yourselves. So you should note them down. These are um, duties that the Scrum Master is meant to look out for and carry out in the course of those 15 minutes of the daily stand up. All right, so that'll be all for this class. We'll meet again in the next class, which shall focus on the sprint review and what the Scrum Master does at the sprint review meeting. See you in the next class.